Good evening, everyone. If everyone can be seated, please. Is this mic on? It's on. And please sign in if you're a community resident, and there's a separate sign-in sheet for community board members. Sorry for the delay in the meeting. Okay, if everyone could please. But I'm adding a lighter. Okay, if everyone could please be seated. Warren. Sit down. Excuse me, could you please move the camera out of the aisle? It's been brought to my attention that it prevents people from coming up because we're going to have mics in the front. So if you could move the camera off to the side, please. Hello? Hello? Yes, you're the one with the camera, please. Thank you. And this one, Alicia, if you wouldn't mind, please moving, I don't know, over there or over here, please. If you could please move the cameras so people can have access to the front of the room.
Will all board members move down to the first 3 rows? Thank you. Don't tell me what to do.
And actually, that light is in my eyes. If you could please move that camera.
That's right. That's right.
All right, let's begin the meeting, please. I need all executive committee members, please, to sit down and take their place up on the stage. Excuse me, could you please move that light? It is right in my eyes. Is this guy not here, him? I'm gonna have to. All right, thank you. Board members, please come to the front. Executive committee members.
I'm coming. Did all board members sign in? I'm sorry, Madam Chair. Did all board members sign in? All elected officials, representatives, have you signed in? Anybody representing anyone? Okay, I'm gonna assume everything is over. I treat my board members well.
You know the rap. You know the.
Jackie.
Okay, I'm coming.
Yeah. Okay, thank you everyone for coming tonight. Today is Tuesday, March 24th. It's the Community Board 9 meeting. I just want to welcome everyone. And I would like to say thank you in particular to the members of the community who attended the executive committee last night. I think it was a good meeting. We may not have agreed on style, but I think for the most part we agreed on substance. So I just want to thank them for their contributions. I'd also like to comment that there will be a public comment session at the end of the meeting. I don't believe it was on the agenda, but there will be.
What part at the end?
At the end means at the end.
After the business?
After the business session.
After the business.
And then for this meeting only, I'm going to designate, to help run this meeting smoothly, I'm going to designate Fred Baptiste to serve as parliamentarian. And I am looking for a volunteer from the community board to serve as secretary for the board. No volunteers? Can I designate? Since Tim took notes, no? Okay. You'll take notes. Thank you. I don't know what you just said, but we're moving forward. So anyway, thank you again for your patience. I'm hopeful that we can have a positive meeting and a positive dialogue. I will also note that we had an executive committee meeting last night where some really important issues were brought to light. So I'm going to go a little off script tonight because it's not on the meeting agenda, but these issues are really important and I think they should be addressed because there's a timeliness to them. So for the first public speaker is artist David Epley, and he will bring the board and the community up to date on the Flatbush Trees Restoration Project. If you could come up, please. Thank you.
Doesn't public comment normally come after the public session, and why would it be coming after the business special meeting time?
Thank you.
Raise your hand. Doesn't public comment normally come after the public session, and why is it being held after the business
Well,
session?
actually, it usually comes at the end of the meeting. I have no problem moving it up to after the public session, but there will be a time limit on it because we have a pretty intensive schedule here and agenda. I've already heard a lot of the concerns last night. I want to make and allow time for your comments and your questions. So I have no problem moving that. But in the future,
You don't have the right to sit there and put time.
yes, excuse me, but if anyone is going to speak tonight, let's all play by the rules, okay? Let's have a decent meeting. Let's not shout each other down. Let's not shine lights in each other's eyes. You will be acknowledged if you raise your hand, okay? Thank you.
Excuse me, you have not answered the question.
Go ahead, David.
Why you have power?
Thank you. It's a great honor to be speaking to all of you today. I'm really excited that after the 2 years since this was unanimously voted in by the community members and board, I have a lot of great updates to share with you regarding the Flatbush Trees project. At the intersection of Flatbush and Ocean, there is the monument to years past. Doesn't have a name, doesn't have an identity, doesn't really have a history. As an artist, this is my body of work. I'm very interested in things that go forgotten, things that don't seem important, take on neglect, and take on just being ignored. When I as I got attached to these over the years, I couldn't help but have a few ideas for them. I went to my community board, this community board, and pitched this idea, which fully involves local children from public schools. The school that I focused in on and ended up getting the best reception to was Jackie Robinson, specifically the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades. I've been working with 100 students from that school for the past 6 months, and we have accomplished a lot, and they are to be commended. Just to give you an idea of what the process is, the students get a packet of these hexagonal shapes, a 6-sided figure. There's 6 or 7 colors in each packet. Some of the packets they could choose their own colors, but it's up to them, the artist, to arrange it and place it however they want. The results that we got are astounding. This is one that's just been started by a 4th grader. Once they've accumulated a lot of hexagons, we start arranging them into what I call bouquets. These bouquets are then put on and model of the trees that I've made so that the children know exactly where their flower bouquets are, so that they can go to the trees, point to them, and say, that's my work, Dad, Mom, cousin, whoever, and further bring in the community into the fold, into this project. This one right here was made by a student with learning disabilities, a third grader. To me, this is amazing. To me, this is what neighborhood's all about, is the children. That's the main reason I wanted to do this project with children. I wanted to involve the local children because they are, to me, the most important part of the neighborhood. They are the future of the neighborhood. And to be honest, I'm really proud of them today as I stand here before you. They've done an immense amount of work. They are excited about art. These are kids that don't get an art class in their school. So if anything, I would love for this project to take on an additional kind of purpose, which is to really advocate for arts in public schools. It's something that's lacking, and it's something that for me as a child was really important. Without an art class, I probably wouldn't be standing here talking to you today. My role in this project is pretty minimal. Other than instructing the kids how to do this, I take full rolls of vinyl. I'm a sign maker by trade, and I've been cutting thousands of these in different colors, cutting them up and collating them into these packets, bringing them to the school and working with the school for about 3 hours a day, an hour for each class, for 6 months. We did get a lot done, but there's still a lot more to be done. So what I thought would be really great and fun was to extend this project out to the community as the trees develop. So in the weeks of May, specifically from May 18th to May 22nd, I will be applying from the tree model sections like this onto the tree. What you're looking at right now is the bottom left half of the first tree's out. If any of you are wondering what's going to happen with the lines and the logo, I asked the children that. I felt it was their decision, and they said keep it. So we're going to keep the white lines. We're going to paint those and give them a facelift too. And pretty much what you know is those trees will be there, except with the love and support of your children. I'm going to just show you a few pictures from our classes so you can. This is a 5th grader. Another 5th grader. 4th grader. 2 4th graders. 4th grader. This kid is amazing. He is brilliant. He asks some of the best questions. He's really up to speed on what's going on in this neighborhood. And he is one of the smartest 4th graders I've ever met. And he's so proud. This child is another just standout to me because this child, we had a Hispanic student come to class who didn't speak one word of English. And he's one of the most productive students. And he took his hour and translated everything that needed to be done and helped this new student to create a bouquet of her own. Pretty amazing kids we have in this neighborhood. I also did a stop motion animation of the process so that you could see how this kind of comes to light. Oh, I guess I don't have it. I thought I had it. I apologize. So for May, what I envision is, again, as I'm setting these trees up, there will be tree models. Hopefully, if we get the permission from the MTA, and if anyone out there has any influence over the MTA, that would be great to help us with that part. But we're going to set up models like this of the tree. I've got 4 tables rented, and I am in the midst of a huge marathon of cutting to have all the materials, all the supplies, everything ready so the children, when they get out of school, my children have already agreed to come and meet there after school, create the flowers in hexagons, put them on the models, and actually see them go up as it happens. Hopefully we'll be done by May 22nd, and that's all I really have to report to you. Again, it's a huge honor to be standing here talking to you. This project is 2.5, 3 years in the making. We did a lot of work to raise the money, to get all the permission forms in, all the insurance and everything. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to field them now.
How is it protected from the element?
It isn't, actually. It's this material is sign vinyl,
Okay.
so it's durable for up to 6 years, and it can go through a car wash conceivably. That being said, I'm sure it will, show the elements over time, like everything else does. And I really only intended for this to be a jump start. I don't want this to be up permanently unless the community wants it. But what I would love is if other artists come, and other artists have come to me and asked, hey, can I get a shot at it too? And to that I say, absolutely, yes. In fact, I thought there would be artists lined up around the corner when I pitched, but there weren't. So that's really what I expect to happen. I expect it to deteriorate over a year or two, but I think after a year or two, another artist will have adopted it and given it a new identity of its own. Any other questions? That's it? Yep.
First of all, I want to thank you for this beautiful presentation.
Thanks.
This started way back when.
Yeah.
Quick question. Why are we going to look at a project that may deteriorate, to use your words, within some years, right? Aren't we looking at projects, material, etc., that could be here for a while?
It could.
And there was using material. I don't know what is used, but I imagine there's material out there that can last longer than what we're talking about, because it would be a shame that we start something all over again and not keep up your direction and your involvement and your ideas, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I understand that. I'll answer the question in 2 parts. Number one, this material is as strong as it gets. It will last for probably 10 years. It's rated for 6, it'll probably last for 10.
Okay.
After that, vinyl starts to crack. The moisture evaporates and it breaks. But there's nothing I can do about that. The other part is that I understand what you're saying, but I don't want to usurp a public monument. I want it really just to be like a matchstick lighting an idea. I love an idea. I would love for it to be up as long as possible, but I, as an artist, have to respect other artists that also have ideas and that may even have better ideas. That's just my personal feeling on the matter. I'm not into grabbing something for myself and holding it. I want to show how important this is and really how important the kids are. That's what's a neighborhood to me. That's what's important. Kids. Public schools are underfunded. Don't even get me started. But as an artist, I really feel passionate about that. I don't know if you can tell, but I really do feel that children are a neighborhood. Once the children go, the neighborhood goes somewhere else. So that's what I want to embrace with this project. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is Rudy Delson, and he's going to bring us up to speed on the Parkside Plaza project.
Can you ask
Oh, yes. As I've been reminded, if people could turn off their cell phones or put them on vibrate, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
The second slide just coming up. Thank you. Let's see how well I can do. Just put Hi everyone. So my name is Rudy. Can everyone hear me in the back? I will try to do this without a mic. I have a new baby at home and therefore I have a cold. So I'll try my best. This is the fourth time I'm coming to talk about this project, and so I'm really here to sort of talk a little bit about what we're trying to do, what we've done so far, and what we're hoping to do next year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, maybe use the hand. So, what I'm hoping to do is sort of recap what we've done over the last several years and talk about what's going to be happening over the next year. Parkside Plaza is the name we've given to the little triangle of abandoned land at the very southwestern corner of the community board, the corner of Ocean Avenue and Parkside Avenue. Right outside the Parkside subway station, when you come to the surface, there's this triangle of land with nothing on it. And several years ago, in 2011, we ran a design contest to try to imagine what could go there. And the winner of that design contest was a local architect named In Cho. She and her husband, Tim Shields, run a design studio that's on Parkside Avenue. They designed a plaza. And we came to the community board then to ask if we could pursue trying to get something to actually be built there. And the community board approved that. And so we reached out to the Department of Transportation. New York City's Department of Transportation has a public plaza program, which most famously, if you think of what's happened on Times Square, where they have closed down some of the side streets leading into Broadway and put tables and chairs and plants and umbrellas out there and opened up those spaces and turned them into plazas. That's the same program that, in a very different form, will be coming to our neighborhood. DOT had, since late 2012, has been working with us to try to bring a plaza to the square. And this is what the square, the plaza looks like today. This is standing at the corner of Ocean Avenue and Parkside, looking north. And here's what we imagine. And what we've done here is build a plaza using blocks of granite, some benches, and planters with plants in them. The way the plaza program works in its very basic form is that DOT provides for free from the city the building blocks here, the planters, the granite blocks, the benches, and then the community steps up to maintain the plaza once it's been built. And so that's our job. And by our, I mean everyone in this room and everyone in the neighborhood, to try to, each year now going forward, maintain this plaza we're going to be building. So we came to you in 2013 with this proposal to say we'd like to build this plaza, and the community board approved it. And I'm here to say that in 6 weeks it's going to be built. So I'm just going to give you an update of what is going to happen out there. Here's an aerial view of what we proposed. And just to quickly explain, in our original proposal, these green circles are the planters of where plants would go. The red rectangles are benches where people could sit, and the blue rectangles are granite blocks from a decommissioned bridge in the Bronx, which can be used to sort of shape the space and create seating possibilities. So that was our proposal from 2013. We began building the plaza last year in 2014. The first step was to put in some tree pits further up Parkside Avenue. So here's photos of when we did that last January. The Parks Department put the trees in, and then all volunteer labor, all volunteer materials. We got some local carpenters out and some local gardeners, and we constructed some tree guards around the trees. And then last spring, we came to the community board for approval to put in benches as well, and those benches were later installed. So as of today, sort of phase one, this is, if you were standing on the plaza site looking towards Flatbush Avenue, this is what you would see today. The tree guards around the tree pits with the benches, and they get so much use. People are out there every day eating their lunch, talking to friends, passing the time of day. A very, very valuable public amenity, just 3 benches. It's the first time there's ever been trees on Parkside Avenue in living memory.
on this block of Parkside anyway. It's also the first time there have been benches on that block of Parkside Avenue. We've also begun hosting events out in the plaza. Last November, we held a one-day plaza where we brought in some tables and chairs from another plaza in Queens. You'll see the collapsible tables here, the collapsible chairs. And we also brought out this one-day pop-up library, children's library, which was great. All the kids who passed by that day stopped and looked at the books and sat there reading. And once the plaza is built, part of the agreement we enter into with New York City is not only do we maintain it, but we also program it. So we're going to bring out arts groups and musical performances and community events to the plaza. And so one thing that I'm here to say today is that if you sitting there are thinking, I have a group that would like to perform in this space, I have a group that would like to present in this space, we are open to ideas. We welcome everyone to come forward to us. This is our space, and by our I mean everyone's space. And I don't know everyone in the neighborhood. No one knows everyone in the neighborhood. The only way we can bring everyone is if people come up and let us know what's available. And we want stuff out there. So if you have an idea, come talk to me. I'll have my contact information up at the end. It's going to be a great resource. So 2015, here's what's about to happen. This was the proposal we approved in 2013. Now, the DOT has certain restrictions in terms of what can be done on a plaza. Among them, the subway track for the Q runs more or less diagonally downward from the subway station there under our plaza, which puts some limitations on what we can put directly above the subway track. Unfortunately, the folks who maintain MTA's bridges and tunnels at DOT don't want permanent elements like bridges, like benches or granite blocks over subway tunnels for the most part. So we had to eliminate some of those elements. There's also budgetary constraints at DOT that limit what they're able to provide us this year. There's also restraints on how much money we were able to raise to maintain the plaza. So we scaled back a little bit. Here's what we are proposing to build, the final proposal. It's a slightly different rendering, but here the green circles represent planters. The white rectangles represent granite blocks from the bridge in the Bronx, and which we did not expect to be able to do. These little circles with squares are tables and chairs, and the big blue rectangles are umbrellas. So we're going to have slightly fewer plants than we envisioned, but we're going to have tables and chairs and umbrellas out there for people to sit in the shade, to relax, spend the time, eat their lunch, meet with friends, enjoy the view of the park. It's going to be the Lakeside Center with the skating rink is just a year old. All of this new foot traffic is coming right out of this subway station, heading right across to the park. This is a great invitation to all of those people to come into our neighborhood, into our community, to spend money at our community boards shops, to come and eat at our community boards restaurants. So this is the new gateway to the southwestern end of the community board. We think it's going to be a great thing.
All right, thank you.
So yeah, I'm almost done. So here's what it looks like today. And if you go out there a month from now, there'll be tables and chairs and plants out there. If I could just say one more word, can I have 2 more minutes? Yeah, so I just want to mention a few people who sort of made this possible. So Councilmember Eugene has given money towards maintaining the plaza this upcoming year. We're very grateful for him for that. We hope to have his support in the future. If you think it's a good idea, please let him know. The organization that is overseeing this is the Flatbush Avenue Parkside to Empire Merchants Association. They are our sponsors in this project. And if you know Shelley or Desmond at Play Kids or Dr. Cutts, say thank you to them for taking on this project. And we hope that this is going to be a great benefit to the merchants on Flatbush Avenue. And we hope going forward this will be a real a benefit to that merchant association. And finally, if you've got paper and pen out, the grand opening ribbon cutting is on May 2nd at 2 p.m. I think we will literally have a ribbon with scissors. We'll be cutting it. There's going to be performances. There'll be speeches. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be the beginning of a whole summer of events on the plaza. May 2nd, 2 p.m., please come out. And again, I just want to say thank you to the community board for giving us your backing to build this plaza. I think it's going to be a great thing for the neighborhood. And
Contact information?
oh yes, I'm sorry, that was my last slide. There you go. So I'm Rudolph Delson. That's my email address at the top. I answer all emails. Right below is Shelley at Play Kids, who's one of the sort of lead vice president at the Flatbush Avenue Merchant Association. She's the liaison between our group, between the Plaza people and the Merchant Association. She's there to help as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I can. Yeah, so it's playkidsstore@gmail.com. All one word. Playkids, plural, store at gmail.com. Yes.
Quick question. When's May 2nd? What day of the week?
Yeah, it's a Saturday.
Not there to the board. Not there.
Can you change it?
Well, we can look into saying. I mean, May 2nd is the day we've had out there for more than a year. We can look into doing it to a Sunday if that's.
The reason I say this, it started under my leadership, so I'd like to be there. At least.
Fair enough. Saturdays are completely out.
Yes.
Okay.
We do a board.
Okay. We've yet to put in the staple permit, so we can try to switch over to May 3rd. Let me just. Yep. Yeah. I mean the
Everyone to enjoy it.
Okay, so you're gonna look into what you can do to best accommodate the community. Is that correct?
Yeah, Sundays have been the traditional days we've done things. I recognize that it's a day of the week that does, or Saturday's the traditional day we've done things. I recognize it's a day of the week that doesn't work for everyone. Sundays have their problems as well, and it's true what people say.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go off script here for a second. This issue was raised last night at our executive committee meeting by a community resident, and it's the Mayor de Blasio zoning text amendment called Zoning for Quality and Affordability. I'm just getting up to speed on that. It's a 22-page document, and I would like the document, we're going to have it posted on our website, and I want this referred to the ULURP committee. I just spoke with the chair and asked him to put a ULURP committee meeting on the agenda sometime within the next 2 weeks to discuss this item. So what I've heard about is that it drastically reduces neighborhood zoning protections and has the potential to raise height limits throughout the city. So to me, this is a very pressing issue. Tomorrow there is a public scoping meeting at Department of City Planning at 4 o'clock at Specter Hall, if you're in the neighborhood or if you choose to go and make a point of going. And there's also a City Hall rally tomorrow at 3 p.m. on the steps of City Hall. And other community groups from around the city are going there opposing this. So if Jay is here tonight, I hate to put you on the spot, but he's not here. Okay, he gave us a very good synopsis, like a 2-3 minute synopsis of what his understanding is, and it sounded like he understood what the subject matter was. So I think at this point we refer it to ULURP committee. It's taken up within the next 2 weeks. I'm not done speaking. Public comments are going to be accepted up until April 6th. So I think it's important we as a board and a community get together and send a message to City Hall. Either we support this or we don't support this. So we will post the date as soon as possible for the ULURP committee meeting.
Excuse me, I would like to comment on that text.
Sure, go ahead. 3 minutes, please, Alicia, okay?
First and foremost, this information was given to the community board way back in February. It was given to all community boards so that they can discuss it. Unfortunately, our community board did not disseminate this information to us, and so we were not giving this information. It had to come outside of our community. That is the job of Pearl Miles, is to disseminate this type of information. So I just want to put that out there, that she's not doing her job. The second thing is that this is a very serious text amendment, because what's it going to do is going to go into the actual building code of New York City and change requirements for senior citizen housing. They're talking about reducing certification requirements. So if you build a senior citizen housing, for example, you might have to put handrails or have certain types of egresses. They're talking about eliminating those types of requirements. And in the proposal, it doesn't tell you what types of requirements they are going to eliminate, except they're just going to eliminate them. And that's always a problem. The second thing is that it's also going to allow them to build 5 to 15 feet taller buildings in a community and have no parking regulations. Most buildings have some amount of parking that you have to provide. However, they're saying if you do senior citizen housing, you don't have to provide any more parking spaces for the residents or the employees. The third issue is that this text amendment will also talk about affordable housing. But again, as always, they don't talk about what's affordable. Of course, that's always left up to the last bit, and we've already seen what the affordable is, $84,000 medium income. That does not correspond to the communities in which most of these buildings will be built. Excuse me, there's nothing in writing about the affordability. Excuse me, can I finish? Thank you. Also, there's no percentage of how much senior citizens can be built in the building. So they haven't decided. You can get a permit to build the building, but how much senior citizen housing is going to be in that building? Again, that is not being determined. So there's a lot of unanswered questions, and a lot of communities are up in arms because these buildings are going to be built in what you call contextually down zone communities. And these are communities that already did their
Alicia, could you
rezoning,
wrap it up, please?
have contextual zoning with height limits, and now they're going to be able to supersede those height limits that these communities negotiated for. For example, if you can build, you have a height limit of 7 stories, if you do affordable housing or affordable senior citizen housing, you can probably build up 10 stories. So it's a serious issue.
Yeah, this is, I mean, Alicia's right. This was raised at committee last night. This is a very serious issue. I mean, I think it's important we have a planning expert, perhaps someone from the mayor's office, to come in and explain this to us. I would like our ULURP chair, with the help of our district manager, to reach out to City Hall to have them come in and talk to us about this. I don't think there's been enough communication to communities on this issue. So thank you very much. Okay, I'm sorry, did someone have a comment? One last comment? Did you have a comment? No? Okay, thank you.
So the meeting that you had mentioned is going to be tomorrow at 4 p.m.?
It's a meeting at Department of City Planning, and it's at 22 Specter Street. If you know where that is, it's right near City Hall. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It's Specter Hall at Reed Street. My apologies. It's 4 o'clock tomorrow. If you're in the neighborhood or want to make a point of it, there's also a community rally on the steps of City Hall. 3 o'clock, and then the hearing is at 4. Okay, thank you. The next item is presentation of draft requested to be submitted to the Department of City Planning for a planning study of Community District 9. Before we go on, it was brought to our attention at the Executive Committee last night that actually the vote was taken after the meeting was convened. After it was adjourned. And the Executive Committee discussed this, and we decided, as unpopular as it might be, that this needs to go back to the ULURP committee. There was some confusion over the votes as well. So I'm requesting that Chairman Edwards take up this item at the next ULURP meeting. I would like to see that happen in the next 2 weeks. Okay? So you have 2 items. Yes?
There are members of the ULURP committee that are Jewish, Passover season, and we need to take that
Absolutely.
into consideration. You don't have, if you're going to do it within the next 2 weeks, I would suggest you try to do it next week.
Yes.
If not, wait till after Passover.
Okay, if you could work with Pearl and Ben on dates.
It's very easy. I'll give it to you straight now. I'll give you the dates. Top of my head.
Okay,
Passover begins the 3rd of April.
April 3rd, okay. That's
That's
April 4th, that's a Saturday.
yeah, well, Saturday night.
Okay,
Friday night.
Friday night.
Friday, okay?
And it runs
8
to,
days later on, and we'll conclude on the 11th.
okay.
So we need, that's the parameters of the holiday.
So I would like this meeting then to take place prior to Passover because there's a time constraint on the zoning text amendment where we can make comments. The deadline for that is April 6th. So I think it's really critical that we get this meeting on the schedule and people come out and let's have a conversation about it and let's decide where the community is on this. Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, to the members of the committee who are here, I would like to bring up in the executive session a motion that we go ahead and find out how everybody voted. It will be on the record how we vote and not push it off.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Alicia, please. Alicia, please. I'm trying to recognize the board member. Go ahead, please. Shh, please.
How many Jewish members are on the unit committee as opposed to how many members on the committee, period?
Mm-hmm.
Taking the time frame around set
I don't know the answer to that. Maybe Pearl could acknowledge that. But I think more importantly, or not more importantly, but as important is our deadline for the text amendment for our public comment. So I think that's really guiding when the ULURP committee meeting meets. And in recognition of our community, we have to take into account religious holidays. And if, yeah, I don't know the answer, Pearl. Perhaps you can respond to that. I don't know.
What is the reason for the question?
Yeah, I don't know. Jake?
I'd like to respond to this question with a statement.
Okay.
In this city, in our community, we need to respect whether there's few or many. We need to respect our religious beliefs and our holidays. I have never, in my 34 years as chairman of the community board, I looked at a master calendar and tried to make sure that things that we did not impeach. I never counted how many Christians there are, or Muslims, or black, white, yellow. We've got to run the board in a way that everybody is part. We just heard a repeating dateline, and that's very important.
Okay. Thank you, Jake. So noted.
Okay.
Hold on, please.
Okay. Can I just answer her question? And then,
Pat, please. Let Pearl respond.
okay, in answer to your question, there's one Jewish member on the committee. Hold up. There's one Jewish member on the committee. That has nothing to do when we have meetings. We're a public body. We have meetings so that anyone can be able to attend. We have a very large Jewish community. They have to be able to come to a meeting that has to do with their interests. And we cannot hold any meeting at any time just because.
Understand my statement. I am not saying I want to disinclude someone from a meeting because of...
Well, I'm trying to understand what your question was. What was the reason for the question? But people have to be able to attend the meeting, so we can't have it any old time.
Okay. We're trying to accommodate anybody, and even if you're not actually serving on the committee, as a community resident, you can attend the meeting, and you can have public dialogue. So.
There are two Jewish members, Warren.
Oh, sorry. So it's just important that we are cognizant of people's religious holidays, whether it's Jewish or Christian or Muslim or whatever. I just, this is an inclusive community, and I think we try to accommodate on those meetings. And also, please, keep in mind that this is really important that we address this issue quickly. Again, the public comment session ends April 6th, so this has to happen next week. We've got to get on the same page as a community as to what our comments are and what our thoughts are about the zoning text amendment. Just from my cursory glance at things, it's pretty sweeping. And I think it's probably the largest thing that we're facing in our community now. And so forget the zoning study, because this is really the big enchilada. Okay, thank you. So, moving on. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead. Do you need a mic?
No, I just want some clarity as to who's on this ULUP committee.
Okay.
And the reason that I want, because I know there was a list, because I didn't get chosen. But yet, there are people on here with votes who did not get chosen, and I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
You got people here that from
I don't have the official list. I'm going to ask Pearl to address that. On that, also, it was raised again, and it has been raised, that members of the community have been, I've seen a different list, so I don't know what the official list is, but it has been addressed or tried to be addressed at the community board, and it hasn't been acknowledged, in my opinion, that members of the community want to serve on committees. We received maybe 30, 35 applications. There are folks that are interested in ULURP. There are folks that are interested in housing, and there are folks that are interested in transportation. This was an agenda item last night of the executive committee. We feel this is really important, that these appointments, if you will, are made and made quickly. I personally would like to see community residents appointed to these committees before the next time they meet. So we were discussing last night selection criteria that'll, we haven't gotten there. I haven't sat with, the executive committee has not sat with the transportation ULURP chair nor the housing committee chair. So, yeah, so I'm going to ask. Yeah, I'm sorry. So so being designated to the board means that you get to vote at the committee, not at the full board. Also, if you're a community member, you can participate in board activities without being appointed, and you can have a say as well.
I'm going to drop this, but my question to you is I'm telling you that there were people that's on our board that should not be on the ULUP committee.
Okay.
And they voted. So I think that needs to be straightened out.
Okay, so we will straighten that out. Absolutely. There needs to be clarity around who's on the board and who isn't, on the committee before the next ULURP meeting. And I would like to see selections made prior to the next ULURP meeting. So if that's the case, then 2 items will be addressed at ULURP. One is the zoning text amendment, and the other is the item going back, the letter to city planning. Sorry, 1 second.
There's a rally tomorrow. You could just
Oh, I did. Okay. Yeah, and so we're also going to post the zoning text amendment language. It's like a slide, PDF on the website. And if we can do this, I would like to see if there's a box where people can make public comments on it and sort of guide where we're going with this. Yes, Jake. You got 2 minutes. And then Suki. Come on, please.
I just sat, for those of you who know me, my name is Jacob Goldstein, longtime member of this board, former chairperson for 34 years. I just heard a question that was posed to single out a group of people by faith. No. Hey, listen, I didn't talk when you're talking. I am going to talk. Thank you.
Please respect the speaker, one speaker at a time, please.
And in our country, we don't single out people by their faith or their color, their skin, or how they walk. Therefore, a question that is posed.
She already said that you misunderstood her.
The question that was posed, how many Jewish people? That is a bad question. The question it is not fair. It is not right. It is not,
Alicia,
etc.
please. He has a right to speak his mind, just like everybody else here.
I would strongly stand here, and I don't get upset very often, but I'm very upset. I wear the uniform of our country, and I'm very proud of it. And one of the things our country stands for is we respect everybody's faith equally, whoever they are, skin color, etc. And when we ask the question,
Quiet,
how
please.
many Jewish people are on this committee, that is an outrageous question. Should never,
Alicia, please.
that should never be posed again. Alicia, I will have talk with you privately.
Thank you, Jake.
Have a good night.
Okay, one last comment, Suki.
I'm sorry. I asked the question, and the question was asked because the purpose of this meeting is more than just one or two individuals or one or two groups. I am not biased in any group, any religion, any color, or any person. Period. If it's so important that it has to happen quickly, why should it be dictated around one set of gender? Was my purpose for asking the question. One set of religion or one set of group. If it's so important and it goes by majority, if you have a majority of the committee members there to make the decision and do what needs to be done expediently, why would we postpone it for any one specific group? Was why I asked the question. If you took that in the wrong way,
Stuart,
I apologize. Because it wasn't meant for you in that fashion. It was meant that
thank you. Okay, can we move on?
it was
Thank
simply
you.
meant to do what needs to be done because I'm not sitting here to waste my time or yours.
Actually, I'd acknowledge the board member. 1 second. Suki, go
I
ahead.
have a different issue with the date. I would agree with you that it's important for us to have a conversation quickly about the zoning text change, since there's a deadline for the public comments.
Yes.
But I don't think we can discuss both the rezoning resolution to city planning and the zoning text amendment in the same meeting. They're both very weighty and complex issues, as you said. And in a 2-hour meeting with the amount of debate and discussion that goes on at these meetings, there is no way that people are going to be able to get their comments in and that the public and everyone else is going to be fully heard and that the issues are going to be fully discussed. It needs to be a second meeting.
I will say this, that the item was already taken up at ULURP, the letter to Department of City Planning. I don't think we need to rehash that. I think what we need to do is to have a second vote.
No, it's not going to be that.
Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a comment, and I didn't really get any.
Yeah.
My understanding is that the executive committee made this decision to bring the letter back to the committee, and this is an issue of order, right? I mean, it's the way things get done. If you close a meeting, you can't take a vote. So we're going to send it back and ostensibly vote again. When we are in executive session, this board can vote. It can decide to have those who are present from the committee say either aye or nay. That will count, and we can then go on to vote on the letter. So for a technicality, right, which is really what it was, let's just move forward.
Alicia, please.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tim.
They said they were going to discuss it, that there was not going to be any vote. That's what you said at the ULURP committee.
I wasn't there at the ULURP committee.
When I saw the tape.
Okay, all right. We're trying to accommodate. Shh, Alicia. Let's take it easy.
And you tried to vote anyway, because you have no respect for the community.
Yeah, so, no. I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, shh. Okay, let's move on, please. Thank you for the, all right, one last comment. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
I absolutely agree. In one additional ULURP committee meeting, we cannot cover all the bases.
Okay, we will discuss that with the chairman.
I'm not finished. And foremost important, everyone in the community has said consistently and time again that they want a clean slate. Not your draft, not your resolution, not the alternative. They want to sit at the table.
Okay, got it. I will discuss with the chairman, and I will discuss the agenda. Okay, thank you. Business session, we're going to do roll call.
Excuse me, you said that you were going to sit there and have a public session during the public session. You would like to have a comment.
You just gave comments.
No, that was not my comment. No, that was not my comment.
Well, there,
You said you were going to open the floor up for public comments. You have to do that. Right. Right, right. Now it is before the business section. Before the business section.
okay.
You have to have the public comments during the public session.
It's we have to discuss it with our parliament because.
People have to write.
Sorry,
All board members,
sorry,
please come
1
sign in.
second, we're
All board members,
discussing-
please come sign in.
We're discussing a procedure here. Fred. Okay, thank you. We have, I'm pretty sure we can get through the business section pretty quickly and dedicate the rest of the time to public comments. So I think that's what we're going to do. So just be patient, hang in here. You said it last time at the meeting. Going back to committee, that's what we decided.
Yeah, but we should see.
It's not going to kill us. And you know what?
We keep going back and forth, no matter what we do.
Everybody please sit down. We're going to continue with the meeting. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to dive into our business section. I'm pretty certain we can do this quickly. And I would like to dedicate the rest of the time to public comments. I'm speaking. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I don't even know what the public comments are yet, right? Until we get to the public session. So if you could take a seat, be patient, we're going to get through.
We're in public session right now, Laura. And that item is on the agenda. Let the people speak if they want.
Okay. I was hoping to spend more time on the public comment session at the end, but let's do it. So let's limit ourselves, please, to, we have to get out of here by 9, and it's 8:25. So let's spend the next 15 minutes on public comments. And please line up. Fred will give you the mic. Please stick to 3 minutes. And also announce yourself first, your name. No, you know what? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's a lot of folks. If we could, do you think we could do this at 2 minutes each so everyone can speak? I'm not talking to you, Alicia. I'm talking to the folks on the line. 2 minutes. Okay, if we could do 2 minutes, please, because there looks like there's a lot of folks. Okay, Elizabeth, I'm going to give Elizabeth the mic. And Pearl? Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Mackin. I'd like to start by requesting that the chair of the ULURP committee, Ben Edwards, come up and present the draft of the request to city planning so that people in this audience may ask him questions.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Should we,
Um,
is Ben willing to?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Ben, do you want to come up and discuss the draft? And then we can do public comments? Hi. Pearl, that's not helping. And then you can sit down. You don't have to defend it. They just want you to read it. Do you want me to read it? No, you should read it. You're the chair. Okay, come up here. Okay, sorry. Everyone, please be patient. We're going to have Ben Edwards, the chair of ULURP, read the draft letter as requested. And then folks on the line can comment.
Okay. On behalf of the residents of Community District 9, Community Board 9 is requesting that the Department of City Planning immediately begin a study of the following geographic area. South side of Eastern Parkway to the north side of Clarkson Avenue. East side of New York Avenue to the west side of Flatbush Ocean Avenue. Crown and Carroll Streets from New York to Kingston Avenue. Preserving the existing character of the neighborhood by ensuring that all new buildings are kept within specific height limits, including bulkheads, and that they are contextual, allowing a modest incremental expansion of the homes on Crown and Carroll Streets contextual with the surrounding homes. The study must take into consideration the need for improved service delivery to the community with special considerations
Okay,
given
that's,
to
sorry,
improve
Ben, that's the end of the
transportation,
line right there, okay? Because we
sanitation,
can't do this all night.
water delivery and sewer disposal, parking, expansion of open spaces to meet the needs of our large underserved youth population, improve expanded school buildings to correct the severe lack of gymnasiums, computer rooms, music rooms, libraries that is needed for children. To this end, we are requesting a thorough environmental impact study. Consider the density of the area when proposing additional housing. We are requesting a set-aside of 50% of all affordable housing units at location for low-income residents, 30% for moderate, and 20% for higher income residents. To enable them to remain in their neighborhood, senior citizen housing should be a priority. Consideration should be given to the best use of the commercial corridors, and this should be done in collaboration with the community. Ensure that recommendations submitted by community-sponsored planners within reasonable time are considered as part of the process. We at Community Board 9 are confident that we could collaboratively work together with the Department of City Planning to successfully achieve what's in the best interest of the community. This can be accomplished with discussion and dialogue with the community input throughout the process, making it a truly cooperative experience. Respectfully yours.
Thank you, Ben. Okay. One. No, this is public comment. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Mackin. This feels like a crazy time to request a study from city planning. Rent control regulations are sunsetting. The 421A tax abatement, which is the principal way that the city is funding new affordable housing, is expiring. The definition of inclusionary housing is in flux. Our mayor has promised to bring mandatory inclusionary housing zones, but nothing currently exists, and there is no reason to believe that he has the political capital or legal grounds to do so. A year ago, our mayor promised the New York Real Estate Board to rezone 15 neighborhoods in support of affordable housing. The New York Real Estate Board, so far only 2 neighborhoods are signed on, Jerome Cromwell in the Bronx and East New York, whose study was started under Bloomberg. We need to ask ourselves, why hasn't de Blasio been able to fulfill his promises? And why are other neighborhoods not initiating city planning studies? Further, why is the mayor making his promises first to the New York Real Estate Board? Now we find out that even the very definition of contextual housing and height limits is up in the air. City planning notified community boards of these proposed changes at the end of last month. Isn't it strange that no one from the ULURP committee felt these proposed changes merited discussion or even mention at the last meeting when considering the latest draft request for a contextual rezoning? What is going on? We have a pretty good idea that committee members heard about the proposed changes because all of a sudden, promoting affordable senior housing, a new mandate under the proposal, is on our draft request. Did no one feel the rest was relevant to us? The proposed changes call for increasing the height limits of new buildings in contextually rezoned areas by 1 to 4 stories. This would apply to all neighborhoods that thought they'd been protected from out-of-context building heights. The principal reason for allowing 1 to 4 story heights to reduce the cost of building for developers. And yet we keep hearing about how we should trust city planning, how they will listen to us once a study has begun. The latest request for city planning is more vague than the original resolution. For some reason, our board is asking less when our community has come out en masse and asked for more. Neighborhoods like Borum Hill that succeeded in getting zoning protections that are preserved their communities specifically asked for what they wanted. In the case of Borum Hill, that was R6B zoning. We should be doing the same. Instead of wondering who this board, comprised of our friends and neighbors, is beholden to.
Alicia, please respect your fellow community members that are speaking. Thank you. Next, Alicia, step off the line. Next, please, can you please announce your name? Don't cut in the line, please. Thank you. Go ahead. Could you announce yourself?
My name is...
Excuse me.
Pat.
We're not going to have that here tonight.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Please respect the speaker.
My name is Felicia, and I'm going to be reading the petition that's being circulated in the community and sent to Eric Adams' office. We, the undersigned, request Tim Thomas, Community Board 9 member, not to be reappointed to CB9 after his term expires on March 31st, 2015. His behavior as a community board member in relation to his blog, The Keywood Parkside, has been divisive and insulting to many people in the district, including members of the community board itself. In an atmosphere in our city and country where racial and ethnic divisions seem to be increasing, ensuring that our appointed officials not be seen and engaging in divisive behavior is paramount. As noted in his blog, Tim Thomas has described Black homeowners, tenants, community leaders, elected officials, residents, communities, and CB9 members in derogatory, insulting, and abusive language, and we believe such conduct disqualifies him from membership on our community board. Number 1, he described members of the Community Board 9 as fools on November 5th, 2014, and as embarrassments on January 1st, 2015. Crazy on February 4th, 2015, and Chairperson Dwayne Nicholson, there is a gap in his knowledge. He seems to need coaching and leadership on November 5th, 2014. Number 2, he described the Black residential community of homeowners and tenants that live on the border of Empire Boulevard as powerlessness and fearful on August 30th, 2014, marginalized and fearful, angry rebels without a cause looking for somewhere to place their anger, and nut jobs on September 27, 2014.
Stop.
Number 3,
respect each
he
other.
described Black women and men leaders and heads of organizations as are likely alcoholic. Most alcoholics die frightened and alone. That lady, alcoholic, name of a Black leader in the community, is an alcoholic and fraud on February 5th, 2015. Number 4, he wished harm to residents. Maybe Black female community leader will break her jaw while working on her garden on February 5th, 2014. Number 5, he created anti-Black slogans, not in my black yard, which was the title of his blog for September 18, 2014.
All right, everybody settle down. All right, next. Tim, please, sit down. Alicia, sit down, please. I know. No, I'm not against you. All right, next speaker, please. Next speaker.
Listen. The entire point of public commentary is for the public to get a chance to comment. If we are going to keep going this way, then guess what? You and your neighbors do not get the time that you deserve. Because of this, we are limiting the commentary to 2 minutes. This is necessary because we have to be able to make sure everyone gets their voice. Okay? I'm timing everyone for 2 minutes. When you get to the mic, introduce yourself. I'll give you a tap on your shoulder when you have 30 seconds left. But we have to do this the right way. We have to respect everyone's voice. We have to let everyone get their time.
Thank you, Fred. Okay.
I'll try and talk as fast. My name is...
Shh, please, go ahead.
My name is Lorraine Thomas. I'm going to try and talk as fast as I possibly can. I'd like to address the fact that no matter how many times we, the community, has told CB9 that Empire Boulevard was not to be included in the study to be conducted by city planning, they have totally ignored us, yet they say that they are listening to what we want. On August 4th, city planning met with CB9, the community, to present and discuss parameters for approval of the area to be included in their study. We vehemently said to remove Empire Boulevard from the study. On August 15th, there was a town hall meeting with Eric Adams, and it was made clear at this meeting that Empire Boulevard should be excluded from the study. There was another town hall meeting on August 17th, and it was conducted at a church on Fenimore and Rogers in Brooklyn, where MTOP educated the community regarding rezoning, gentrification, displacement, etc. And again, we emphasized that we, as well as other community organizations, wanted Empire Boulevard removed from the study. On August 23rd, there was a general meeting conducted by CB9 at Medgar Evers College, and at least 500 people were in attendance. And once again, we stated Empire Boulevard was to be removed from the study. On August 28th, a demonstration in the form of a march was conducted within the community for the purpose of signing petitions and emphasizing that luxury equals displacement, and again to remove Empire Boulevard from the study. On August 23rd, there were 4,000 signed petitions and letters obtained from residents of the community requesting that Empire Boulevard be removed from the study. We didn't sit at a computer and get signatures online. We walked the streets of this community, we climbed stairs in apartment buildings without elevators, we knocked on doors, we rang doorbells, we went into stores, laundromats, shops, spoke to people on the street in order to get the 4,000 signatures.
Okay, time. Thank you.
It's time?
Yes, thank you.
Why have you ignored our requests?
Okay, thank you. Next speaker. Okay, shh. Please announce your name.
Good evening, everyone. This was shared at the executive board meeting last night, and I would like to share it with all of the board members as well as the community.
Sorry, can you announce your name first?
My name is Maxine Barnes.
Thank you.
According to Tim Thomas' version of events, a draft resolution was voted upon by committee members who were present at the EULA committee meeting, 9 yes, 2 no, on March 16, 2015. However, there are several issues as to the validity and lawfulness of this vote. The makeup of the committee membership was questioned due to the fact that members were placed on this committee in violation of CB9 bylaws Article 8.2, which states that members of committees are appointed by chairman of the board and/or the chairman of the committee. A motion was presented to address this issue and was put down by Ben Edwards, chairman of the EULA committee. The community was told at the beginning of the meeting that a vote was not going to be taken, but at the end, there was an attempt to have a vote taken and the community objected. Ben Edwards called the meeting adjourned, and people began to proceed to leave. According to Guide to Parliamentary Procedure for New York City Community Boards, the purpose of the motion to adjourn is to close a meeting. Any unfinished business is held over to the next general meeting. This motion is not debatable or amendable. Thus, Demetrius Lawrence's statement that the meeting was not adjourned is invalid, and nor can amendment make such a determination. For it is the job of the chair, according to the New York City Community Boards, to declare meetings adjourned. Open general meetings, because Ben Edwards declared the meeting adjourned, any vote after this meeting was adjourned is unlawful. I'm too old to brush. disgrace. According to the Guide to Parliamentary Procedure for New York City community boards, all of them, votes are only valid when a person is present. Board members, I need to remind you that if a voting record states that you said yes and you were not present during that vote, you have to object to that voting record. Otherwise, according to Robert's Rules of Order, your silence is considered and to be agreement with the vote. If it is proven that you were not present, you could be brought up on charges for conspiracy to defraud a vote. Also, if Tim Thomas and the Executive Board determines that this vote was valid, they could be brought up on charge. Finally, this letter and all evidence, including these comments and videotape recordings, have been forwarded to the District Attorney's Office, the Attorney General's Office, and the New York City Department of Investigation.
Please, everybody let the speaker who has the mic speak.
I'm Ann Prude, not to give my time to Maxine.
Okay, sit down then, please.
Hello, community residents. There exist serious issues at CB. My name is Maxine Barnes. I was given Ann Pruden. Hello, CB9 concerning conflicts of interest and corruption. Laura Imperial, now interim chairman with less than 2 years on the board, is a lobbyist for a multi-million-dollar construction company called Thule Construction, whose clients consist of New York City governmental agencies such as Department of Parks, Transportation. Please review the page that was distributed to you, which shows the lobbies for the mayor's office and city council. The next page shows that Thule Construction had a massive project at 59th Street and Columbus Circle where the type of construction would be the same kind for Empire Boulevard if we were to go on with this rezoning from commercial to residential. The Conflict of Interest Board has made countless rulings stating the members who could benefit either professionally or personally from business of the board should not be chairpersons and should not vote. The fact that Laura plans on selecting persons for a EULA committee and be a part of the selection process for both the current chair and the next year's executive boards is in violation of conflict of interest, and we are demanding that she step down immediately. Second is Michael Soteria. Last year, Mr. Soteria was the chairperson of the EULA committee when a project for 521 to 527 Empire Boulevard was presented. He was the architecture for $45 million. He started with a 4-lot zoning, and he went to 18. He went to 18 zoning being presented to be rezoned. We believe that because of this rezoning request that went through the borough president's office, Eric Adams might be implicated in this increase of rezoning lots, or at least he should have known about it. It was also found in the minutes of February 25th that Pearl's mouth spoke about a meeting that nobody else knew about. However, we are demanding that Pearl Miles be removed from her position.
Thank you very much. Sorry, 1 second.
So good evening, everyone. I just want to get everyone's attention. I want to read something of the Community Board 9. My name is Demetrius Lawrence, second vice chairman. I understand that.
Alicia,
I am the second vice chair.
Be quiet.
So to the rest of the board and the community, my name is Demetrius Lawrence. Article 7.
Please sit down.
Duties of the officers. When the chairman is not present, he resigned, if everybody knows, Dwight Nicholson. So I'm going to read Article 7, Section 7.2. The first vice chairperson and the second vice chairperson successively shall have any of the powers and perform any of the duties of the chairperson if the chairperson so directs specifically in writing, or if the chairperson shall be absent, incapacitated, or if there shall be a vacancy in the office of chairperson until a qualified successor shall be elected. So that's
Conflict of interest says that no person on the community board should be chair or chairperson of anything that has to do with something.
This is according to Community Board 9's bylaws. Successively, first vice chair, second vice chair have the authorities of the chairperson of Community Board 9. Thank you.
Speaker, please. Thank you very much. Okay, next speaker, please. Thank you. Please, Alicia, allow your neighbors to speak. It's not just about you. Everyone else has a voice here, and we want to hear them. Please, go ahead. Please announce your name.
Damalie Lilly.
I'm sorry. Could you say that?
It is believed that several new board members in
2014 were placed illegally by Eric Adams, our borough president. The law states that the borough president can not only recommend and appoint 12 members on the board per year. The other 13 members must be recommended by a councilperson covering the community board. If the councilperson does not recommend anyone, that slot must remain open and cannot be filled by the borough president. In June 2014, Eric Adams appointed 18 new board members. These members creating a voting block, forcing the old executive board to be replaced. If you look at the page in the pamphlet, you will see that there are bold names for each new member recommended in the place of the board. Next to each person's name, there are initials BP for borough president or a number which points to a particular council person. Let's take, for example, Carmen Martinez. As you can see, her name is in bold, so it means that she's a new member of the board, and the number next to her name is 40. This means that Eugene Matthew recommended her. However, this is suspect because she has been known to have a long-term relationship with Eric Adams for over 30 years. If you turn to the next page, you will see the document from Eugene Matthews from the City Council, which shows that Eugene did not recommend anyone for new appointments. In fact, all the documents from the City Council clearly state that there were no new recommendations, appointment for CB9 from any council person. This means not only did Eric Adams, borough president, break the law by placing more members on the board than he has been allotted to, but the legal government recommends that legal records have been tampered with and altered to cover up this fact. Based on these facts and the evidence, it is clear that the makeup of this board violates the law and that the executive board that was in place have been illegally placed, and that we are demanding that a full investigation into this issue be done, and that the board be suspended until the legal power is determined.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Okay. My name is Karen Fleming. Everybody breathe, okay? Because this is not about zoning, okay? You may have in your hand a notice that we were having a debate of the candidates for the 43rd Assembly District, which we have nobody there now because Kareem Kamara has gone to work for the governor. Joyce Stewart, who's not here today because she's not feeling well, spoke directly with Shirley Patterson and explained to her what we plan to do. She first said that she would participate. She called back the next day to say that her kickoff campaign had been placed on the exact same time as our debate was scheduled for, and therefore she would not be able or was not assured that she would be able to be there. This is Shirley Patterson. Joyce Stewart also talked to Diana Richardson. Diana Richardson initially said, yes, I will be there. She called back later to say that because of the moderator, she didn't say which one. I leave it up to you. I was one, Alicia was the other. I leave it up to you to figure out which one she was talking about. She would therefore, well, I'm not making any assumptions, therefore she would not attend because she didn't like the moderators. I spoke to Mandy Rakeport because it's almost Pesach. He said he's concerned about his business and that was going to be his main priority, although he would try to come. Therefore, Jeffrey Davis is the only politician, political operative, who has agreed up until 2 hours ago when I spoke to him to appear.
There is no campaign allowed
we have,
in a
excuse
community board
me,
meeting.
we have canceled it. We have canceled it.
There is no campaigning allowed. Thank you very much. Next speaker, Alicia, actually, you're at the back of the line because there were people ahead of you.
Holding my space.
3 minutes, that's it.
I began this
I'm sorry,
struggle
2
on
minutes.
April 7, 2014, when I attended the town hall meeting hosted by PPEN. At that meeting, I made the promise to do everything that I could to stop the creation of tall towers in this community. I've kept that
Alicia,
promise.
did you ask how your
Tonight,
neighbors
you
feel
see
about
a
you cutting
year's
the
worth.
line?
Tonight, you see a year's worth of struggle to uncover and expose what is truly happening in our community by the very people who are supposed to be protecting us and looking out for us. Now this is in your hands. This is your community board. And if you feel it's not representing you, then you need to demand that it be shut down and reorganize to ensure that that is doing what it should do. And that is represents your interests, not the interests of politicians, landowners, individuals out to make a buck off the suffering of the people. In light of all of that has transpired, we are demanding that this board be dismantled, that a complete investigation be done, not only concerning the past corrupt actions of the board, but also the current behaviors. We are demanding that a full investigation into Eric Adams, borough president, be a part of this issue. Now, not only appointing members to CB9, but also rezoning 18 lots in our community without our consent. We believe that Eric Adams broke the law to ensure that he had control over the board, and then proceeded to advise and instruct executive board members on how to silence the people. We believe that the police department was used against the residents in this community to use of fear and intimidation and arrest to stop us from exercising our First Amendment rights, because we did not want our residents to be displaced. Our community turned into unaffordable and turned into a tourist trap.
What? I know.
If this board continues to break the law and falsifying votes, records, and minutes to try to get a resolution passed, they will face consequences.
Next speaker.
The DA, I spoke to the DA this morning, and the DA said they are taking this issue seriously. So you watch while they go to jail, because they go.
Next speaker. If you're going to stand there, then you're not going to fight. Sit down and respect your neighbor who is trying to speak. Sit down. Next speaker,
Hi, my name is Alan
announce
Berger
yourself.
with Concerned Citizens for Community-Based Planning, and I had a statement to read, but every time I get up there, I read another statement. I don't think that they're really being heard or taken into account. What I saw tonight that really disturbs me, that I want to address, is why the 3 items on the agenda, 2 of them had presentations made, questions from the audience that were answered by the presenters. Third one did not. When are we going to start having a real dialogue in this community? There's been no opportunity for us to ask questions and get them answered, for us to know what the community board members are thinking, what they know or don't know about this issue, what kind of information they have, what kind of research they've done. We don't know. We haven't had a chance to hear from them. All we've done is gone up and made statements. We need to be able to ask questions and get answers. That's how we move forward.
Next speaker, please.
My name is Sue En Cheong. I'm also a resident of the community, and I agree with Alan. Why has there been no answer to the questions that we have asked the board for weeks now? Questions which are important threshold questions that need to be asked before you can ask for an open rezoning study from city planning. These questions include: what is the justification in our district for any upzoning when, even with 100% downzoning and contextual zoning, the amount of development and potential development that would remain is substantial? What is the meaning of contextual zoning? That is not defined in these resolutions. Has the ULURP committee met with the housing committee or the 197A committee? These resolutions are proposing new additional housing. They're talking about district needs like gyms for Medgar Evers, which is important, but these are 197A issues. Has the ULURP committee met with these other committees that they can discuss this in the rezoning resolution? I'll use the rest of my time to wait to hear from the board members in answer to any of these questions. I believe I have 2 minutes.
No, you only have 1 minute. You only have 2 minutes total. Play what this is. They're not answering. How can you? Trying to come and put up shop on then I put up all the people. They don't answer. They don't know. Thank you. They don't know what they're doing. No answers? No, that's not. But they want to make decisions for us.
These aren't hard questions.
Go behind closed doors and make decisions.
We take you with us.
Go behind closed doors and make decisions.
Okay, next speaker, thank you.
Nobody's answering. That's our community.
Yes, good evening, Community Board 9. My name is Tyrone McDonald. I'm here on behalf of Neighborhood Housing Services, a not-for-profit housing organization. I know there's a lot of urgent issues, pertinent issues, and I'm glad the community is passionate. One urgent issue I just want to bring to your attention is that NHS will be hosting a free disaster preparedness training on March the 31st from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Kings Plaza. And it's basically going to cover organizing your block, your family, your community to deal with disasters, be it fires, power outages, you name it. I have flyers there. My telephone number is 718-469-4679. It's free, and you do get a certificate. I hope you can make it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
What time?
I'm sorry,
Oh, yeah.
it's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on March the 31st, 8 Kings Plaza. And there's flyers there. You can talk with me afterwards.
Thank you. Next speaker. No, I'm sorry, Pat. Grace is the last speaker. I closed the line.
Good
Go
evening,
ahead.
everyone.
Reuven,
My name
go
is
ahead.
Reuven Lipkind. I'm here as a representative from State Senator Jesse Hamilton.
Please respect the speaker. Continue,
I
Reuven.
come out to the meetings to hear your comments, to report back to the senator so he knows your concerns. It has been quite a while since we've been recognized. There are different representatives from elected officials who have not been recognized for quite some time. I just want to make an announcement. We're going to have a Women of Excellence Award and reception. It's going to be Friday, March 27th at 6 p.m. Location is First Baptist Church, 450 Eastern Parkway. That's between Bedford and Rogers. The host of the evening is Eric Adams, the borough president, Laurie Combo, City Councilwoman,
No.
Joanne Simon, Assemblywoman, and Shirley Patterson, the chair of the 20th State Senate, the 43rd Assembly District, chairwoman.
Why is that on Shabbat? That's Erev Shabbat.
Excuse me?
What's Erev Shabbat?
What does that have to do with anything?
Okay.
I did not
Thank
say
you,
that.
Reuven.
You're out of turn and disrespectful.
Is that it?
Also, we are arranging to have an event where we'll be giving out smoke alarms to the community in light of what happened last Saturday in the neighborhood. A family was basically destroyed through fire. They did not have functioning smoke alarms. So I'm working with some local business people, so we'll be giving out to the community, so God forbid this does not happen in this district. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it 1 minute. My name is Pat Jackson. I'm president of the Carroll Street Block Association. Only thing I feel deep about, okay, is we put these, I'm gonna watch my mouth because I do have a dirty mouth, but we put these people in power to do what's been happening in our community. How many of y'all work to get these bums out of office, all right?
Thank you. Final speaker, Grace. Shh, please let Grace speak. Please, Nita, please.
Hi, I'm Grace Betts from Lincoln Road. Can you hear me? Okay. I just feel that going ahead with this resolution to have the ULURP study done by the ULURP Major Committee is a disaster because there needs to be more time. This is a very complicated matter, and that little boy or those little children who did those lovely hexagon designs, they're not going to be able to live in this community if things go forward the way they may.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes the public comment session. Thank you very much. We're going to go right into business session. So, Jackie, if you and Pearl would do roll call, the board members. Thank you, Demetrius.
Forgive me in advance, I'm going to call the roll call. Forgive me in advance if I mispronounce your name. Patricia Baker. Board members, please listen up for your names. Patricia Baker. Did everyone have all board members, did you have a chance to sign in? Thank you. Stuart Balberg. Reverend Banks. Fred Baptiste.
Present.
Simone Bennett. Warren Burke.
Here.
Augustine Blackwell. Phyllis Brown. I'm sorry, forgive me. Vita Mae Clark. Josette Brigeot. Ben Edwards.
Present.
Sheila Foster Golden.
Present.
Rabbi Jacob Goldstein.
Present. Count for it.
Rabbi Gross.
Here.
Tessa Hackavera.
Here.
Bishop Sylvia Gonzalez.
Here.
Aaron Hershop. Louis Johnson.
Here.
Demetrius Lawrence, present. Avi Leshus.
Yeah.
Michael LeBert.
Here.
Carmen Martinez.
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't sign. Laura Imperiali.
Present.
Musa Moore.
Present.
Patricia Moses.
Yes.
Beverly Newsom.
Here.
Frank Nicholas.
Here.
Gerald President.
Yeah.
Unella Rona Perry.
Yanela Rowan Perry.
Sorry, Miss Billy. Mary Blackett.
Here.
Brenda Scott.
Yes, here.
Kanina Sperling.
Here.
Rabbi Joseph Spellman. Ada Terry.
Here.
Timothy Thomas.
Here.
Jacqueline Welch.
Here.
Evelyn Williams.
Is everyone accounted for?
We have quorum. Laura. 34 members present. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. Minutes of the December 2014 meeting. Do we have that, Pearl? We're going to vote that in? No, we don't have the... Okay. Okay. And the February 2015 meeting? There's no minutes as of yet. We have to We're waiting for the former secretary of the board, of the community board, to provide us with those meeting minutes. As soon as we have them, we'll post them on the website. District managers report. Pearl.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Jake.
Please. That's not necessary. Shh. Let's respect each other, please.
The way you respect us, by listening to us. That's respect. You need to listen to us.
Do you think you could do a quick synopsis?
Okay. I'm scheduled to go to court on Thursday, this Thursday the 26th at 2:15. I worked with, hopefully the Department of Sanitation and folks that have alleyways. There was really a major problem with picking up garbage.
Alicia, please. Shh. Guys, please. Please, Alicia. Alicia, go ahead, Pearl. Alicia, come on.
You people need to shut up and listen.
All right, go ahead, Pearl. Alicia, you had your time to speak.
What happened to the parliamentarian? We don't
Alicia.
have I thought we had a parliamentarian here tonight. Is that convenient?
Alicia, can we end this meeting on a positive note for a change? Yes, really.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Pearl. Pearl, go ahead.
What happened to the parliamentarian?
Okay, go ahead, Pearl.
As I was saying, we had a really very severe winter, so that impacted on garbage collection for those homeowners who get picked up in their alleyways. Because there was so much snow and ice, it created a lot of upset people because their garbage wasn't being picked up in the alleyways. However, that was resolved, and we're going to have a meeting with the Department of Sanitation and representatives of the homeowners to see moving forward how this situation can be addressed to avoid upset people if we have severe snowstorms coming winters. Also, for streets that I drive and walk on almost every day, those streets I've noticed that had potholes, so I contacted the Department of Transportation to have those potholes filled and the street made safe. Anyone else that if on your block there are potholes, it'll take like a week after it's reported. You can call the community board office and we'll try to get those potholes fixed expeditiously. Also, there are locations within our district that are going to be resurfaced in the spring. I have the streets. They're Albany Avenue from Union to Montgomery, Balfour Place from Empire to Lefferts, Lamont Court from Empire to Lefferts, Lefferts Avenue from Brooklyn to Albany, Rutland Road from Albany Avenue to Remsen, Winthrop Street from Flatbush to New York Avenue, and Winthrop from Albany to Schenectady. I also asked Department of Transportation because I got a couple of calls from folks that live on Rutland Road between Flatbush and Bedford, and they said that the street was really bad. And I asked for them to be included, as well as Rochester Avenue. I don't know if anyone drives down Rochester. Between East New York and Carroll, it's like really, really bad. And so I asked for those 3 blocks, 2 on Rochester and the 1 on Rutland. But National Grid has work to do there, so they're not going to resurface the street and then National Grid comes and tear it up. So it has to wait. Those streets have to wait. However, I asked for them to be made safe. So if there are any potholes there, that should be Carroll Street on Meg Evers block, from Rogers to Nostrand. That's also bad, and I spoke to them about that. Did the minutes from the former secretary for December 9th. We don't have the last month's minutes, but I'm speaking with the former chair and the secretary about trying to get February's minutes, and we'll get them to you as soon as possible. Did the Borough Service Cabinet at Borough Hall, and the Mayor's Office of Sustainability they're doing, Mayor Bloomberg had started this plan in NYC 2030, and so they're continuing that plan. We participated in the public meetings regarding Plan 2030, and our focus was parks, because we have a really large youth population with, less than 1% of our neighborhood is open space. So that was really important to us. However, although the mayor advocated for increased parkland all over the city, we really didn't get any increase because of budget-related matters. And so we're still working on that, and we're hopefully the new plan NYC that's coming up with this mayor is going to do the same type of outreach, but I think more extensively, they said, more into neighborhoods, and Community District 9 is one of the neighborhoods that they will focus on, because at Borough Service Cabinet, I really mentioned that we really vigorously participated in Plan NYC 2030, and we really didn't see anything, and what did you do with the plan that involved us? So they said that they would come to our community specifically and speak to groups, and so that's an ongoing conversation. And as things progress, that information will be out there for all the groups in the community that want to participate. Will be given that opportunity. And I did other routine things for the board.
Okay, thank you.
Also want to add some announcements. The Ebbsfield Middle School, they're having a ceremony on March 25th, which is tomorrow, from 4:30 to 7:30. It's in their gymnasium, Ebbsfield Middle School, 352 Gymnasium, and they're inviting everyone, and they're serving dinner for all those who attend. Also, Transportation Alternatives, which is a group that they do a lot of work for pedestrian safety matters. So they're having a committee meeting on Thursday from 7 to 8:30 p.m., and it'll be at the Brooklyn YWCA, which is on 3rd Avenue on the corner of Atlantic Avenue, and the public is invited. The mayor's office wants folks to know that on Saturday, March 28th, the Department of Education is hosting a pre-K community fair. The one in Brooklyn is going to be at Medgar Evers College in the cafeteria on the 2nd floor, 1638 Bedford Avenue. And it's on Saturdays, this Saturday, 12 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. So if there are folks, families with children pre-K age, come to this meeting at Medgar Evers to get information and learn how to apply for a free, full-day, high-quality pre-K. And you don't have to RSVP or anything, just come. Also, Sunday, April 19th in Brooklyn is the Safe Disposal event that the Department of Sanitation is sponsoring. You must be a New York City resident. You cannot be a commercial. And if you come to dispose of your items, you cannot drive a commercial vehicle. It has to be just your regular car. It's going to be Sunday, April 19th, MCU Park, Surf Avenue parking lot. And you come in from Surf Avenue and West 21st Street. And among the items that you can recycle are like automotive, flammables, and electronics on that day. You heard about the Historic Districts Council. They're having a rally in City Hall on tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. And it's regarding the Housing New York zoning for quality and affordability. And Councilmember Carnegie is hosting a small business financial panel at Restoration Plaza, 1368 Fulton Street, Brooklyn. It's going to be tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. You are encouraged to register for this event on http://on.nyc.gov/BIZ financing panel, all one word. Youth Bridge is accepting applications for the upcoming 2015-2017 fellowship year. This is for youth who are 10th graders interested in learning more about diversity and issues affecting New York City. The deadline for applications is March 27th. To learn more or to apply, they should visit www.youthbridgeny.org/fellowship. Or if you want more information, email youthbridgeny@gmail.com or call 212-983-4800, extension 145. This is for 10th graders. And close to home is a limited secure placement. There are facilities all over the city, but we have one here, and we've always had one. It's on Carroll Street, across the street from McEvers, and it's a place where children are housed who have had some interaction with the legal system. The sponsors for our close to home site and the others in the city, they're Leak and Watts, and they have a job fair on Tuesday, April 7th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's at Berkeley College, 255 Duffield Street in Brooklyn. And they're seeking qualified individuals to join their team. Positions that are available include nurse practitioner, psychiatrist, physicians, youth counselor, floater, driver, porter, supervisory clinician, and per diem control. For more information on any of these positions, please visit www.leakandwatts.org, LEAKEANDWATTS.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pearl. Committee reports. Do any of the chairs have anything to add to their written reports? Warren, I know that this came up in executive session last night. There was some confusion around the bylaws committee and how the bylaw revisions were segmented into 3 sections. So I'm going to ask Warren to explain the process, and we will post each section as they're being discussed as a draft on the website. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Before I start, I just really want to congratulate Rudy. there's any questions I want to we started with Shop Local, which was a great government to merchant interaction, which ended up increasing sales to all of our merchants at our community. And what Rudy has now accomplished is the private sector supporting the public sector. And I just want to say I really appreciate it and I respect it, and to be able to have this plaza supported by a merchants association is something that I think has not happened before. So congratulations, Rudy. Okay, economic development. We had a meeting. We're in a lull right now. We'll be gearing up for Shop Local next season, probably starting in July. We are going forward with the website to promote our local contractors as well as our independent contractors. We have not succeeded in getting a major company to do this on the cuff, but we're working on it. So if you know anybody or you have any connections, what we're looking for is like some sort of ad agency who could help us do the website to promote our local independent contractors and freelancers. Okay, bylaws. As we reviewed last month, we're doing the bylaws in 3 sections. The reason for the 3 sections is that there's a lot of information there. And the first section, which was handed out last month to everybody, all the board members, as well as the general public, what we did is we just want everybody to go over it and then to give us any comments. The first section was relatively easy. It's a lot of boilerplate. The second section is going to be a lot more meat, all right, in terms of changes and everything else, because there's so much vagueness that we want to try to cover everything. So our approach is to put in most things that we can think of and then have the discussion with the board, okay, in order to find out what the board wants to do. So the process is this. Each section will be given to the board. They'll be commented on. Public is welcome to comment. It will come back. Corrections will be made or go back. We'll do that 3 times. The first section, second section, third section. After the third time, when everything is in, it's back in committee, we will put it all together. And this will be posted and everything else, because it's, you know, I emailed you one today, by the way. And then we'll have everything together. And the reason for that is that you're doing things separately, you can get out of whack. So you have to see how things interrelate. So just to repeat again, so there's no confusion. There's 3 sections. We'll be doing each section. We did the first section. I'm going to ask for your comments right now after I finish this. Then we'll get the second section. There'll be everybody's comments. It will go back from committee. It will then be reviewed again with everybody. Then there'll be a third section. And the purpose is so number 1, everybody can think and take a look at it and not be bombarded with like 20 pages of new information and the reasons behind it. Because as you see, the way we do it is that we have existing and then we put the changes and we put why. And this is what everybody's received. So that's our process. I expect that hopefully by September, this will be finished. Are there any questions on the first section from anybody? I have no idea. Next question.
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about?
Say that again? Okay, ask the specific question. Oh, is that Pat? How are you, Pat? Good. What I'm talking about is that, Pat. No, I can't. I'm being muzzled. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Warren. We will have it posted by tomorrow, the first draft. We'll also post the next bylaws committee meeting. Everyone is welcome to attend. Let's see. Chairman report. The only thing I'm going to address in this report, because I think I've covered some other things prior to the public session, is that we have vacancies on our executive committee board. So we need to replace the chair, and we need to replace the secretary. And Demetrius will read from the bylaws, but in a nutshell, we have to have a special election. And tonight we're going to ask volunteers from the board to serve on the nominating committee. It's no less than 5 members, no more than 7. The slate will be put together. People will either nominate themselves or be nominated by others. Let me just tell you the timeline of this. Then the slate of candidates for the 2 positions will be voted on next month, at next month's meeting. Then in April, there is a nominating committee. Pearl, please.
It follows the election procedure. That's what the bylaw says.
That's not our interpretation of the bylaws.
So let's go according to the.
Okay, we're going by the bylaws.
Excuse me. Go ahead. You got it. You wanna read
And then let me just quickly, and then I'll ask Demetrius to address it. Then we need to have a nominating committee for the entire executive committee. So that means every position is up. It will be open. So Pearl, please. I'm having a hard time hearing myself. Thank you. And then the elections for the full executive committee will take place in June. One second, we're looking at procedure, please.
So according to our bylaws, Article 6, Section 6.2, it says thank you, Madam First Chair. At the regular meeting of the board held in the month of April, a nomination committee consists of an off number of members of not less than 5 or not more than 7 appointed members shall be appointed by the chairperson. The nomination committee shall elect its chairperson and shall present 1 or more candidates for each office to be filled at the May meeting. Additional candidates may be nominated from the floor at the May meeting. Section 6.3 says upon the death, resignation, termination of board membership or removal of an officer, the vacancy created shall be filled by the board. The election to be filled such a vacancy in office shall take place no later than the second regular meeting following the creation of the vacancy. The election procedure shall be the same as set forth in 6.2, which I just read of this article. Any officer elected to fill a vacancy shall hold office for the remainder of the unexpired term and until qualified successor is elected. So, as you were saying.
So there will be 2, just to reiterate, there will be 2 elections, a special election next month for the, I'm sorry, not next month, in May, for the chair and the secretary. For the interim, yes. Yes, and then the regular, sorry, my apologies. So tonight we need to have, 1 second, Jake, please, I'm talking. I'm asking people to volunteer for the nominating committee. So we need 5 members, no less than 5 and no more than 7. Is anyone interested in serving?
May I ask a question?
Sure.
So the first vice chair and the second vice chair, I thought what Demetrius read earlier, first vice chair, second vice chair automatically steps up when the chairperson is missing and assume the responsibility. You don't assume them to the end of the period? No. You just assume them temporarily?
Yes. So what happens in section 7.2, if I may, the first vice chair and the second vice chair does not automatically go to the chairperson position. It's according to our bylaws, the first vice chair and the second vice chair will have the same powers as the chairperson, but we still have to go according to our bylaws, which is electing, which is electing a chairperson for that position. We just hold the position to help in that succession as a first vice chair and second vice chair until we do the election, but we have to do an election to fill that vacancy of the chairperson and secretary according to our bylaws. Before the year ends. So we're going to wind up having 2 elections. We're going to have one to fill that vacancy according to our bylaws, to fill that position of the chairperson and the secretary. And then the next election will be filling the position of whoever the chairperson is or whatever, the same election again. All right, so again, as I read, the first vice chair, second vice chair successively shall have any of the powers and perform any of the duties of the chairperson if the chairperson so directs specifically in writing, or if the chairperson shall be absent, incapacitated, or if there shall be a vacancy in the office of chairperson until a qualified successor shall be elected. And then if we go back to 6.2 and 6.3, we have to hold this election for the vacancy to fill those seats for the vacancy of the chairperson and secretary. Yes?
What specifically is the role of the nominating committee? Like, what specifically do they?
Good question. So, Brent?
The nominating committee is charged with canvassing the board to find out who is interested in running for positions. And from there, they'll actually develop a slate and bring the names in terms of they have so many candidates who want to be chair, so many candidates who want to be vice chair, and so on. That doesn't preclude anybody from running from the floor, but they do that initial work in terms of canvassing to see who is interested in what positions.
But the nominating committee that's being selected now is only canvassing the board, looking for chair and secretary.
For this round, yes. For the April meeting,
Yes.
chair and
Yes.
secretary for that.
Correct.
But understanding that because of the time of the year, they're going to be turning, very likely, I'm not sure if it's this exact nominating committee, or we may have to appoint another nominating committee. We'll have to turn around and do the same exact thing for the May elections.
Jane, go ahead, please.
June.
A point of question, and I don't know where I stand on this because I didn't look into it. In the sense of expediency, and I'm going through this twice, can we, as a board, vote to suspend this section, not have to go through, excuse me, I'm asking a question. Not go through this, and then go straight to the nominating committee for May, and then of course do what? That is the question.
Fred's going to respond to. Can you give Jake the mic and let him repeat what he said, please, so everyone can hear?
The question is, we're now going to go through a motion and a vote and whatever it takes to make it happen. And I say, in the sense of expediency, that we take a vote as a board to set aside whatever language we want to use, that section or sections of our bylaws for the 1 month, and that we allow the current first people who are right now running the board, first vice chairperson, secretary, vice president, run it.
Please.
Run the board until when we have to have the nominating committees for the June meeting and dispense, you know, and we can. You know, I've been to boards where we have bylaws and there's a vote among the people there asking for a temporary, not permanent, but for this thing, a temporary suspension of the bylaws.
Okay, Alicia, please, go ahead. Shh. This.
Excuse me. You're not a member of the executive committee. Go.
Am I to understand what you're trying to say now is first and second vice chair stay where they are and assume the responsibilities of chairperson.
Continue.
We overlook the election.
Don't overlook. We take a vote. We take a vote as a board to suspend those bylaws temporarily and move straight to the June meeting where we should have it. Because to me, for 1 month, it's a lot of spinning of wheels. Yeah.
It is a.
I'm just making a statement. Okay, that's it. I used the wrong
Thank you.
word.
All right, Fred, go ahead, please.
If I may,
Carl.
I spoke with the chair earlier because we understand exactly your point. It doesn't make sense to do this twice, especially at this time of the year. But with that being said, and this is the reason why you do bylaw revisions, you gotta be careful, because when you paint yourself in with specific language, you really kind of paint yourself in. It's very specific in terms of the time frame where that election to fill the vacancy has to happen. And as a general process, usually you can suspend some of your procedural rules, but to suspend the bylaws is against parliamentary procedure. So that's the reason why we have to go double up.
Right, okay. All right, so Tim, last comment, please, and then
Okay,
I'm going to ask people to volunteer. Go ahead, Tim.
Tim Thomas. So I understand, and I agree. However, I would ask that this nominating committee be charged with not just finding people who are interested in 1 month, but people who are interested in continuing in the position, so that even though we're going to have 2 elections, we have a pretty good idea of who will be running in the second. Now, I'm not saying you suspend anything. I would just like the chair to use that as a guiding principle. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you, Tim. Okay, that concludes our meeting tonight. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming out, for being patient.
No, we can't. We can't. We gotta.
Oh, I'm sorry. A motion to adjourn.
We got to pick the nominating committee.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Well, no one volunteered, so I'm assuming we're going to have to email everyone.
We need. Please, board members.
We need 5 to 7 people.
5 to 7 board members to please participate in the nominating committee by, and I believe they do it by raise of hands, if I'm not mistaken. So we need 5 to 7 board members by raise of hand who want to participate. That's 1. Can you get your
Earl,
name?
can you write this down, please?
Ms. Perry, hold on a second, please. Keep those hands raised, please.
Raise them high, please.
So we only have 2. We need a few more.
Musa.
Thank you.
Come on, Musa.
Appreciate it. This. You have the 2. We have Sheila. So how many? That's 4. Musa.
We need 1 more. Musa.
Musa.
Avi?
It's 5. We need.
Avi,
if we can
come
get
on,
one more.
Avi. Get that
And we
hand
have
up.
Avi. It's 6.
All right.
So we have our.
We need 1 more.
7.
We need 1 more.
Oh, we need one. That's right. That's right. So we do need 1 more. 7. Frank Nicholas. So those who are nominated, those who are nominated, raise your hand one more time for Pearl, please.
And Pearl, please read the names back.
Okay, I have Frank Nicholas, Ada, Terry, Miss Perry, Miss Blackwell, Avi, and Sheila.
And Musa.
And Musa. More.
All right. That's 7. No. Is that 7? We're not done.
This is business session.
Sit
Alicia
down,
Board.
please. Well, it's not time for the questions, so sit down. We're conducting business. Okay, motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, everyone.